Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment in your life where you just stopped, looked around and thought, is this it? Is this really what my life is supposed to be? Maybe it was late at night when everyone was asleep. Maybe it was at work when you looked around the office and felt like a ghost, moving through motions you didn't even believe in anymore. Or maybe it was during one of those mornings when you wake up, the alarm blares, you hit snooze 3 times, and you realize you're not excited for the day ahead. You're just surviving it. I want to tell you right now, you are not here just to survive. You are not here just to make it through. You are here to live, to expand, to rise, to break through. And the truth is, it doesn't take 20 years or a massive lottery win or some miracle to flip your life upside down in the best possible way. Sometimes it only takes 3 questions. 3 questions that, if you ask them every single day, if you live by them, will change how you do everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. The way you work, the way you love, the way you treat yourself, the way you chase your dreams. Now here's the thing. Most people go through life never asking themselves better questions. They ask the same ones over and over. Why does this always happen to me? What's wrong with me? When will things finally change? And the problem is, bad questions lead to bad answers. If you keep asking a what's wrong with me, your brain will find something wrong with you. If you keep asking a why does this always happen to me, your brain will dig up every bad memory to prove that you're unlucky, unworthy, or undeserving. But the moment you start asking powerful questions, your brain shifts. You start looking for answers that empower you instead of imprison you. And that's where the magic begins. Now, I'm going to give you these 3 questions, but I'm going to warn you. If you treat them like a quote you read on Instagram and forget tomorrow, they'll mean nothing. But if you treat them like oxygen, if you live them, if you breathe them into your decisions, they will transform the way you do everything. The first question is simple, but don't mistake simple for small. The first question is, what does this make possible? Think about that for a second. Life will throw you curveballs. It will knock you flat. You will lose things you thought you could never live without. You will fail at things you thought you were destined to win. And in those moments, most people ask, why me? Why now? How could this happen? And in that moment, they give away their power. But if you instead ask, what does this make possible? You shift from being a victim of life to becoming a creator of your future. Let me give you an example. There was a man who lost his job. Not just any job, but the career he'd built for 20 years. He was devastated. He sat at his kitchen table staring at the bills thinking, this is the end. But one day he changed the question. Instead of why did I lose my job? He asked, what does this make possible? And the answer came, this makes it possible for me to finally start the business I've been dreaming about for a decade. That man went on to build a company that not only replaced his income, but gave him a freedom his old job never could. When you ask, what does this make possible? You train your mind to see doors where others see walls. You learn to look for the seed of opportunity in every setback. Because here's the truth. Inside every problem, there is the seed of a gift, but you will never see it if you don't ask for it. And this is where life starts to change. Because suddenly, the breakup isn't just pain, it's a chance to rediscover yourself. The failed project isn't just embarrassment. It's a chance to learn skills that will make your next success unstoppable. The rejection isn't just a closed door. It's a redirection to the path you were meant to be on. The second question, this one's a game changer. And at first, it might sound uncomfortable. It might even trigger a little resistance in you because it's going to require absolute ownership of your life. The second question is, what am I pretending not to know? Now, let's be real. Every single one of us has areas in our life where we already know the truth, but we hide from it. We bury it under busyness, distractions, excuses, or even a smile. We pretend we don't see the signs that the relationship is toxic. We pretend we don't notice that our health is slipping. We pretend we don't hear that little voice that keeps whispering, you were meant for more. Because the truth demands action, and action demands courage, and courage means risk. The risk of failing, the risk of being judged, the risk of losing something comfortable. And so we play blind. We put on a mask. We say, I don't know why my life feels stuck, when deep down we know exactly why. But here's the truth. Transformation begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. The moment you look in the mirror and say, I've been pretending not to know, but now I'm ready to face it. I remember a woman coming to me after an event. She had tears in her eyes and said, Tony, I don't know why I can't seem to move forward in my career. I asked her a few questions, and within minutes, she admitted she'd been avoiding starting her own business because she was scared of what her family would think if she failed. She already knew the path she wanted. She'd known it for years, but she was pretending not to know because knowing meant she had to choose. When you ask yourself, what am I pretending not to know? You shine a flashlight into the corners of your life you've been keeping dark. You see the truths you've been avoiding, and yes, it can hurt. But that's where your power lives. That's where change begins. Think about it. What are you pretending not to know right now? Are you pretending not to know that your body needs better care? Are you pretending not to know that you're staying in a job that's killing your spirit? Are you pretending not to know that you've let fear drive your decisions instead of your vision? I'll tell you something. Every time you drop the pretense and own the truth, you reclaim a piece of your life. And when you reclaim enough pieces, you become unstoppable. And that brings us to the third question, the one that ties it all together, the one that can ignite massive action in any area of your life. The third question is, how would the best version of me handle this? Oh, this one will set you free. Because here's the thing, we all have two versions of ourselves living inside us. The small version, the one driven by fear, doubt, and comfort. And the best version, the one driven by courage, clarity, and purpose. Clarity and purpose. When you face a challenge, you can respond as the small version or the best version. When you're tempted to react out of anger, you can pause and ask, how would the best version of me handle this? When you're scared to take the lead, you can stop and ask, how would the best version of me act right now? And the moment you do, you step into that version. You make decisions from that higher place, and your life starts to rise to meet it. Let me give you a simple example. A man came to one of my seminars going through a brutal divorce. He was angry, hurt, and ready to fight over every detail. But then I asked him, how would the best version of you handle this? He went quiet. Then he said, the best version of me wouldn't destroy my kids just to get revenge. The best version of me would find a way to end this with grace. No matter how she's treating me, that decision changed everything. Not just for him, but for his children. The beauty of this question is that it calls you up, not out. It doesn't shame you for where you are. It simply points you toward where you could be. And when you start making decisions as the best version of yourself, your results, your relationships, your health, your finances, your joy, they all rise to that level. Now, let's put it all together. Imagine you face a challenge, and instead of spiraling into frustration, you ask, what does this make possible? You start to see opportunity. Then you ask, what am I pretending not to know? And suddenly the excuses vanish, the truth is clear, and you know exactly what's holding you back. And then you ask, how would the best version of me handle this? And you take action that changes everything. 3 questions, that's it. But if you commit to them, they will rewire the way you think, the way you feel, the way you live. I want you to imagine something with me. You wake up tomorrow, and the worst possible thing you can imagine happens. Maybe it's the loss of a job. Maybe someone you love walks out. Maybe it's a diagnosis you never thought you'd hear. In that moment, most people freeze. They get stuck in the shock, the pain, the this isn't fair. And I'm not here to tell you that pain isn't real. Pain is real. It's part of life, but suffering is optional. And the way you end suffering is you change the questions you ask yourself in that moment. So picture it, you've just been knocked down. Instead of spiraling, you stop, you breathe, and you ask yourself, what does this make possible? At first, your mind might scream, I'm nothing. This is a disaster. But if you hold the question, if you keep asking, your brain will start to look for answers. You'll start to notice doors you didn't see before. Maybe losing the job means you can finally move to that city you've always wanted. Maybe the end of that relationship means you can finally reconnect with the parts of yourself you lost. Maybe the diagnosis means you're going to start valuing your health, your time, and your relationships in a way you never have before. It's not about pretending things aren't hard. It's about refusing to waste the hard by letting it break you instead of build you. Now, picture a different scenario. You're standing in front of a decision you've been putting off for months, maybe years. It's been sitting in the back of your mind like an unfinished conversation. Every day, you find a reason to avoid it. And then one day, you decide to ask yourself, what am I pretending not to know? You pause. And the truth comes rushing in. You're pretending not to know that this job is sucking the life out of you. You're pretending not to know that you've been numbing yourself with social media instead of facing your fear of failure. You're pretending not to know that you've stopped fighting for your dreams. And in that moment, you feel two things: fear and freedom. Fear because now you can't hide. Freedom because now you can finally choose. And let me tell you something powerful. Truth has a way of setting you free, but only if you're willing to see it. Let's go to one more scenario. You're in a moment where your emotions are boiling. Someone's just said something that triggers you. Your instinct is to snap, to defend, to attack. But then, right there in that split second, you remember the third question: how would the best version of me handle this? You close your eyes for a breath. You see yourself at your absolute best, calm, confident, compassionate, unshakable. And you realize that the best version of you wouldn't let someone else's words control your behavior. The best version of you would respond with strength, not react with weakness. And so you choose differently. And that choice changes the outcome, the relationship, and even the way you see yourself. When you start living by these three questions, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. You start leading yourself instead of following the patterns you've been stuck in. And here's the secret. The more you ask them, the more natural they become. At first, you might have to remind yourself. You might even forget in the heat of the moment. But if you keep practicing, they'll become automatic. The moment a challenge comes, your brain will go, what does this make possible? The moment you feel stuck, you'll go, what am I pretending not to know? The moment you need courage, you'll go, how would the best version of me handle this? And that's when you know your life has changed. Not because the world around you suddenly became perfect, but because you became powerful no matter what the world throws at you.